Over the weekend, the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Asuwaji Bola Tinubu, was at the residence of the immediate past leader of Yoruba socio-cultural group, Afenifere, Pa Ruben Fasoranti, to present his manifesto as well as seek his blessings ahead of the 2023 general elections. Speaking during the visit, Pa Fasoranti, who prayed for Tinubu's aspiration, also described him as a unifier and politician without an iota of tribal or religious bigotry. He also described him as one capable of sustaining the unity of Nigeria, citing his antecedents in Lagos State from 1999 to 2007 when he served as governor. Take a look at some excerpts from there.
For this one, with your prayer, earlier on today, I will bring the trophy home. Amen. We will change the course of history by the grace of God. Amen. And they themselves recognize that it's not just a Yoruba thing. When we get together sometimes, they will tell me, don't load everything with Yoruba. Our people are watching you. Our action plan is progressive. Not everything you can put in a booklet. I know Tinubu we recognize that. And
although the APC candidate has secured the blessing of the former Afenifere leader, he is yet to be in the clear, as the current leadership of the group, led by Pa Ayo Adebanjo, have maintained their support for the candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi. Adebanjo, who was visibly absent during the Tinubu's visit when contacted by journalists, said the group's position remains unchanged and, as such, not interested in any controversy around the issue. With this response, however, it now seems like the Southwest will not be a landslide victory for Tinubu, as the Afenifere appears to be a divided house. And in Abuja, President Muhammadu Buhari has said that the decision of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to launch new designs and replace high-value Naira notes had his support. Buhari, according to a statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, emphasized that he supports the CBN's decision to redesign the Naira notes, adding that he was convinced that the country will gain a lot by doing so. Recall that CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele had, during a special briefing in Abuja, disclosed that the Apex Bank will, following approval by the president, start circulating newly redesigned 200, 500, and 1,000 Naira notes from December 15. However, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, during a 2023 budget defense session with the Senate Committee on Finance, countered Emefiele on the proposal, saying her ministry was not consulted by CBN on the planned Naira redesigning and that she could not comment on it as regards its merits or otherwise.
Furthermore, we believe that the redesign of the currency will help deepen our drive to entrench cashless economy, as it will be complemented by increased minting of our e-Naira. This will further rein in the currency outside the banking system into the banking system, thereby making monetary policy more efficacious. Also, in view of the prevailing level of security situation in the country, the CBN is convinced that the incidence of terrorism and kidnapping will be minimized, as access to large volume of money outside the banking system used as source of funds for ransom payments will begin to dry up. Ladies and gentlemen, on the basis of these trends, problems, and facts set out above, and in line with the provisions of sections 2B, section 18A, and section 19, subsection A and B of the CBN Act 2007, the management of the CBN has sought and obtained the approval of President Muhammadu Buhari to redesign, produce, release, and circulate new series of banknotes at 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira levels. In line with this approval, we have finalized arrangements for the new currency to begin circulation from December 15th, 2022, after its launch by President Muhammadu Buhari. The new and existing currencies shall remain legal tender and circulate together until January 31, 2023, when the existing currencies shall cease to be legal tender.
That really you should call the monetary authorities because they're the competent authority to do this. We were not consulted. It was an announcement that we heard. And I've seen,
Okay, you two, you just saw the press release like every other person.
Part of the reasons that was advocated is that's one of the ways to mop up liquidity to manage inflation. But there are also consequences that we're also looking at what would the consequences be. There will be some benefits, but there will be some challenges. And I don't know whether the monetary authorities have actually looked very closely as what the consequences are and then how they can be mitigated. So I still advise that you have that discussion with the monetary authorities.
That policy statement, dollars have started going up.
Yes.
And that is the consequences, because the target is by January, when this will take effect, dollar will have hit like 1,000 naira dollar to $1.
So I've said my opinion as a Nigerian. I've said my opinion as a Nigerian, not as the fiscal authority. First of all, as a fiscal authority, we were not aware of it. It was an announcement. Secondly, I think that's one of the ways that they're trying to use to manage inflation. But there are consequences that also need to be considered and how to manage those consequences.
That was Minister of Finance. Beyond saying she was not in the know of what happened, she appealed to the committee to invite the CBN governor for quiet explanations as regards merits of the planned policy and rightness or otherwise of its implementation. Can we say those in charge of our fiscal and monetary policies also live in a divided house? Only those close to the powers that be could answer this. Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy, and governance. I am Hamza Idris. Tonight on the program, we are joined by a former Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, and member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Dr. Dalladi Bago, who is also the Koguna Sokoto. Together, we'll be discussing some issues in the polity as well as his candidates' adventures in the Southwest. Welcome to the program, Koguna.
Thank you very much, Hamza. How are you doing?
Fine. We're happy having you. After a very long time, asking you to come, because of your schedules. But finally,
yes,
we have you today.
Thank you. And I must congratulate management and staff of Trust TV.
Yes.
The studio I'm seeing is nice.
Good.
Good quality.
Okay.
Digital. And I expect that as you move closer to the elections, your performance will also increase towards sensitizing Nigerians towards voter education and more awareness.
Okay.
And for now, I think Daily Politics is doing well.
Okay.
I've had 2-3 governors told me that they came and attended the program.
Okay, good.
So I'm pretty happy at the work you're doing.
Thank you.
And my very close friend and classmate, former classmate, the chairman of Daily Trust Group.
Okay, Malan Kabiru.
Malan Kabiru.
Okay.
I congratulate him personally because this journey, we talked about media right from 74 when we were in School of Basic Studies in
74?
Zaria. Yes. We talked about how to get Nigerian media much more involved in government. And even as Director General of NBC, I tried to make sure that 1 or 2 of the electronic media houses that were licensed in the North do what should be done in comparison to what a lot of all the Lagos-based, the Ibadan-based media have been doing. Okay. Daily Trust is about to fill that vacuum as a pace setter in the north.
Thank you very much, sir. We're honored by this compliment. Yes. More so coming from no any other person but you. Yeah, the two tidbits we had. Yeah. Maybe I should start with the first one or the second one. I don't know which one you like.
Just make your choice.
Okay. Tinubu said he will take the trophy home.
Yeah.
How possible? He was telling Pa Fasoranti, the former leader of Afenifere.
Considering the demographics of the voter turnout and education and calculations in Nigeria, you can comfortably say that after resolving all small issues in the Southwest, once upon a time they had a small problem in Ondo because his candidate was Eitayo Jegede and Akeredolu was not too happy. He has resolved that little quarrel. Akeredolu is now frontliner in the campaign in the Southwest.
You are sure of that? Is it not on the surface?
Very. I've attended so many meetings that don't get published or spoken about, and I know. The same in Ogun, where you had little problems, Amosun, and the governor, a little
Dapo
Abiodun, Benga Daniel, and all of those things, those have been resolved. A few issues in Oshun, but internal issues. And he has the skill to be able to unite those people. And I think everything is gravitating now towards a huge success in the Southwest. You know yourself that picking a vice presidential candidate from the Northeast literally gives him, for a candidate like Senator Kashim Shettima, who not only governed for 8 years very well, restored a lot of all the peace that we have now before Zulum came. Zulum won his commissioner. Now he made Zulum from nowhere. God makes people, but in this case he picked Zulum. So you have a situation where Borno, Yobe, Gombe are literally in the bag.
But before we get to Northeast, I really want you to trash the issues in the Southwest. Oyo is a PDP state.
But already, even today, he just acknowledged that Tinubu is their candidate. Makinde. Sheyi Makinde has said severally, both in private and now in public, that there's a huge possibility that the Southwest and Oyo in particular will vote Tinubu.
But the same today, Makinde was represented by his deputy in Akure.
Yeah.
But today, Makinde is insisting that something must happen for them to support.
Absolutely. But you know yourself that the Oyo case is slightly, it's a borderline case.
Okay.
It can go both ways. Okay. It can go PDP, it can go APC.
Yeah.
Yes. So for the 6 states in the Southwest, I expect that if you pick 5, you're home and dry.
But you just lost, APC lost Oshun. So I don't know how it's going to play out for him there to get the desired votes. Yes. Maybe 25%.
In 2011,
yes,
we had a PDP government in Sokoto, and Jonathan was in PDP at the center. He was running. Us commissioners, 3 of us that are commissioners in the cabinet at that time, I can vouch because I saw and I know and I was there. We voted PDP for governorship and we voted CPC for president.
They call it Anguluda Kanzabo or something like that.
No, we just made a choice.
Okay.
You're right. We just said the better candidate was the CPC candidate. So the mere fact that you have party loyalty, I can assure you that on election day, a lot of Yorubas, a lot of PDP in Oyo State will vote for Asiwaju.
Okay. Now, Afenifere, the current leadership led by Adebanjo, they are still insisting, despite the blessing, that Fashoranti ushered on the head and body, everything about Asiwaju.
I want to...
Is that not a serious problem?
No, it is not. I want to assure you that the elder statesman, Reuben Fashoranti, has been there long before so many of them. He carries the weight of Afenifere a lot more than most others. And let me assure you that once upon a time, in one of the interviews granted by retired Major Hamza Mustafa, he talked about these people in the other Afenifere. He talked about the people who, during Abacha, came and collected money in huge sums. So their integrity...
Was Fashoranti not one of them?
No. The integrity of these other people are in question. And we're not too sure what to make of... You could easily set a trap for them. Take money and go and give them, and probably might accept. But the issues remain that even with a divided Afenifere, a large part of the Yoruba race and the Southwest will vote for Asiwaju. I can conveniently, Hamza, I have done elections since '78. Shehu Kangiwa in Sokoto, I was youth leader. President Shagari was running for president. Shehu Kangiwa was running for governorship. I was youth leader in MPN, and I ran around the whole of Sokoto local government. And I know, and as a reporter in NTA as well, I covered the elections, both as a youth leader and as a participant. So I can tell the trajectory of election pattern and voting patterns. Same in 91, 92, 93, I was in Lagos. I followed MKO everywhere. I saw the success in view and impending success in 91, 92, 93 for SDP. I have seen it. I was again part of the major success of 98 for President Obasanjo. And I became DJ of NBC. So I'm saying again to you now, based on my long track record of tracking election patterns and voter behavior, I can say to you comfortably that the Southwest will be 55, 60%, even 70% cleared by APC.
Okay, very interesting. But even though you didn't point accusing finger at anybody in terms of inducement or whatever, people thought that, you know, the other faction of Afenifere, maybe it was out of conviction that they endorsed Peter Obi. Because if you are talking about money, I don't think if Obi will outshine
in terms of
Asiwaju.
money, you're right.
Yes.
You're
so
right.
Is this not a threat to him?
But sometimes when you do deals like that, you strike a deal like that so that the person you're striking it against can come with a bigger offer. Don't mind me. We're just talking business politics.
Yes, Koguna, yes.
So that you can use that as a bait. Sometimes you use it as a strategy. So I don't want to comment further on that. But the truth of the fact is that when the chips are down, Hamza, I don't think that, considering the stories of the civil war, betrayals in so many levels and all of those things between the Southwest and Southeast and all of those things, I can assure you that so many of the Southwest people have only one candidate. Remember, Nigeria is to a large extent ethnic oriented when it comes to voting. Your grandparents will ask you, how are you going to go and vote for somebody from another place when your own is running? And when that factor comes at the eve of election, I can tell you that there's no way you can compare voting for Asiwaju and voting for another party. That's the first part. The second part, there's nothing anybody from the other party Afenifere is endorsing that can compare to the performance of Asiwaju in Lagos.
Like what the Fashoranti cited.
Absolutely. Yes. There are so many reasons why it's not even a contest. The case of Tinubu in Lagos, all the stuff he has done and he did, the number of people who have been ministers, governors, the FIRS chairman, vice president that he has built, the number of master plan, 24-year master plan that he designed for Lagos. Today, Hamza, in Abuja here, the rail has not started working. I am sure it will start working. But Lagos already has built a rail inside Lagos from the state government.
Koguna, so, do you see the... I don't want to use the word renegade so that they will not come here for me. But do you see them maybe at certain point in order for the power to move to the south? Do you see them really endorsing Tinubu, or we'll get to the election, then the voters will decide?
I think that's what will happen. The voters will decide during elections. Remember that Nigerian voters...
So you foreclose them, maybe?
I don't... Hamza, the first thing you'll ask yourself, the two factions of Afenifere, which one is stronger in terms of its impact on...
The 80-year first warranty, of course, he has the face to say, okay, do this. But, you know, voters now are on the streets. You
Absolutely.
need to go out.
Absolutely.
First warranty is in Akure. These people are in Lagos and many other states.
Absolutely. Remember that the factors that run an election and the victory include so many other things: peer group pressure, ethnicity, religion, performance, all those indicators. They all matter in an election. It's not just an endorsement by somebody. Besides, Hamza, you know yourself now that the days of endorsement used to happen in the 60s. One Hakimi in Sabongari Zaria or Fadankarishi in Nasarawa State will tell the people, go and vote for so person. Today, the people have a handset, a mobile phone, where they get information about every other person. They get their own peer group.
So they can take decisions.
So they can take decisions. So they have knocked out the advancement of technology, has knocked out the middleman that is an opinion leader, that is now an influencer. So between the peer group, they make up their mind for themselves. So an Afenifere could sit in Lagos or Ibadan, and one could sit in Akure. At the end of the day, what they see on the social media, what they see on TV, what they see Hamza saying, Hamza Idris and Trust TV saying in Abuja, or indeed in Kafanchan or Manchok or Godogodo, or what they see will help them make up their mind without referring to the Hakimi of Godogodo.
Okay.
So eventually they will make up their minds. And that's why, back to what we're saying all this while, Hamza, thank God that you're a journalist and you're working in the media now. Today, the media controls a lot more than the Hakimai, the emirs.
The time has changed.
Time has changed because now you have direct access to information. Nobody is tuning or fine-tuning that information for you.
Yeah.
So I think that the issues of both Afenifere, they would have their impact, but the impact gets more insignificant as the day passes, in such a way that they're not going to. Way back, if a leader says to you, if a leader of Yoruba Nation says, go and vote so, and they hear that the polling booth in front of your house in Agodi, in Ibadan, that MPN won, they will come for you.
Yeah.
Today, they wouldn't even know, because the format does not even allow you to decide who voted what and how within that Agodi, and whether the Hakimi said so. Because the Hakimi knows now that even before he calls you and says to you that go and vote for so person, the social media has already convinced you where to vote for.
Every media team
or
every campaign organization of candidates will like their principal or their choosing candidate to win. What difference do you think he will bring to the table that will convince Nigerians to go for him? Because there are many issues surrounding his candidature.
First things first, let me put it like this. Some 5 years back, those who did not like Asiwaju pegged their decision on, oh, he didn't complete his education in the US, oh, this, oh, that, oh, this, that. In the last 3 months, the publication from the university proved that he attended school. In the last 3 months, a lot of all those questions have been answered, because the campaign team and the media team have also taken pains to explain each one of these decisions. At the end of the day, whether you like it or not, the performance of a candidate shows. You ask yourself, okay, we have 3 candidates. What was their
18.
record? 3 candidates out of 18 that are front runners. Now, You ask yourself...
But all the rest are saying it is time for paradigm shift.
Yes, but for the benefit of this discussion,
yes,
we're not going to be able to go to ADC, others and others.
All the other parties, okay.
The bottom line as to when you ask yourself, what has the three frontrunners, what have they done? One of them met a city called Lagos, very dirty, traffic, low per capita income, huge revenue, leakages, so many things. He did not just stay and moan and grieve and complain and wail. He gathered about 25 elders and intelligentsia, including youth, and asked them to design a 25-year plan. They designed that 25-year plan from 1999. That plan is what they're still operating till today, how to turn Lagos around. Created agencies that will clean up the place. This is a man who, the kind of walkie-talkies they were using in 1999, the police were using in Lagos, and the vehicles they had. Way back, armed robberies took place in Lagos when I was a staff of NTA in Victoria Island. Everywhere was unsafe. As we speak today, Lagos is one of the safest places. Lagos is one of the cleanest places. In fact, people complain about LASTMA, the traffic agency, because they are doing their job. So Lagos traffic is much more
So
improved.
you believe Nigerians should go for him? Nigeria is big, over 900 and something square kilometers.
I'll come to that in a moment. Because of that track record, and of especially capacity and manpower development of human beings. For God's sake, there was a director of budget now, Ben Akabweze, in the presidency. He was commissioner of finance for Lagos for so long. There are so many of them like that. The list is endless. Now, because of that kind of performance, here's a man who I'll be sitting in Sokoto, and the next thing I'll hear that, the market in Sokoto caught fire. And Asiwaju has come to Sokoto, pays a visit to the Sultan.
But Obi was in Benue 2 days ago or 3 days ago to support.
All through 8 years in Anambra, he never went. I don't even think I saw him in Sokoto for one day. Talk less of Zamfara, talk less of such remote places. These are new converts. They're just starting now to behave like politicians.
Are they copycats of such?
I don't know. But Asiwaju had been doing this, building these relationships right from 91 when he was a senator. He had built this kind of relationships. So I strongly believe that there's a wide gap between all three of them, the front runners, in terms of voting pattern and behavior. I strongly believe that from what we have seen, knowledge of the environment, knowledge, and of course, sometimes also, you don't pray for people's misfortune. But when you have a party who is about losing about 5 governors because of internal wrangling, what can you do? You just kagumi.
But there are allegations that while you are clearing some gray areas, including education, qualification, health, and all that, you are planting mines, land mines, along the road to that. But you will answer this after we return from a short break. The viewers, we will go for a short break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Stay with us.
That's great. It's good to see you.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Remember, you can follow the conversation on our various social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. We have in the studio Dr. Dalla Debago, a member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, and he's also the Kogna Sokoto. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, before we went for the short break, you reeled out so many credentials about Tinubu. But what will undermine your campaign, which is still raging, is the issue of picking a Muslim northerner to pair him with him. This is one. The other aspect is that these candidates, the three you mentioned, they are becoming like provincial leaders, you know, showcasing themselves from regional perspective. Peter Obi is an Igbo, Tinubu is Yoruba, Atiku is Hausa Fulani. These thin lines, do they really augur well for Nigeria?
Well, Hamza, thank you. Very difficult and nice question at the same time.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the history of voting pattern in Nigeria over the centuries has shown that ethnicity and religion, they play a big role in decision making. Whatever you do, the night before the election, something happens and people are reminded of where they are coming from and why they need to vote for their own person. If you go and check the voting patterns, the Southwest always votes in a way. The North always votes in a way. The East almost votes in a way. Now, the complication this time around is that Northwest, which carries the huge, about, I think, more than 19 million votes, does not have a candidate.
Yeah, Buhari will not be on the ballot.
Buhari will not be on the ballot. So those close to 19 million votes of the Northwest will be available. So that's why that's the battlefront. So it now depends on who amongst these three can successfully penetrate that Northwest.
And coincidentally, you are a member of the campaign council from Sokoto, which is PDP state.
Yeah.
KB, which is also an APC state, but you can see the likes of Alero and the rest, they are all moving out to PDP. So how can you now benefit from Buhari's 12 million so-called votes across the North and specifically in the Northwest?
We had the unveiling of the campaign manifesto last Friday, and the major attraction and the major thrust of President Buhari's speech was that he was going to campaign for APC and campaign side by side with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the Northwest and in the whole country. And you know yourself that, Hamza, it doesn't matter whatever you say. It doesn't matter whatever economic policies, inflation, Buhari still has fierce followers.
Sure.
He does. He has fierce followers. Let him fly today.
But there is this insinuation that if he were to be on the ballot, he will get the shocker of his life.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
I totally disagree with that. Listen, I said it the other day. There's nothing as terrible as people who are thieves, people who run corrupt governments. Nobody can point to one building today, the size of Daily Trust building, that you say Buhari
big
has.
Compliment for us.
Yes, a big, beautiful structure.
But beyond not stealing,
I
think the quality of a leader is to be able to ensure that those working for him do the right thing.
As we speak today, if I start reeling out some of the things that are unadvertised enough about the Buhari government, I won't finish for another 1 hour. I will list them for you one by one, zone by zone.
Anyway, we're not going into that, but people are saying it's a divided house. APC is a divided house.
No, it's not. I'll tell you that whether anybody likes it or not, the moment President Buhari goes on that campaign rostrum to run with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, those votes in the south, in the Northwest, will almost be secured.
But are you sure they will not be stoned in Katsina, which has been ravaged by bandits? In Kaduna, Birningwari, which have been terrorized by, ISWAP and all this.
I can assure you that between now and the end of the year, 24 hours is a long time in politics. It's also a short time. I assure you that the reduction that you have seen in farmer herders clashes now, the reduction you have seen in the Kaduna-Abuja highway kidnappings, the reductions you have seen even within Birnin-Gwari. I know the emir of Birnin-Gwari so well, and I know that he has attested to the fact that it's reduced. The way they are going after them now, I think by the time we're coming to the elections, a lot of security improvement would have taken place. Let me assure you that you have 7 governors in the Northwest. You have Nasiru El-Rufai. I have no doubt he will deliver Kaduna. You have Badaru, Muhammad Abubakar Badaru, Jigawa. I have no doubt that he will deliver Jigawa. I have no doubt. I have no doubt that Kebbi, Senator Alero, my very good friend and elder, my colleague, my everything. But I think that on this occasion, Bagudu, remember Bagudu had even defeated him in the Senate twice.
Okay.
Senator Bagudu will deliver Kebbi. Now
with the defection of the Aleros and even last week about 400 key loyalists of APC.
You're going to get something like a 55-45 voting pattern.
It's like a battleground.
It's the battleground.
Good that you admit this.
Clearly it's a battleground. Kebbi is a battleground. No two ways about it. Sokoto,
which is PDP state.
Yes, we have. And
you are from Sokoto, a member of the campaign council. What will you do differently?
I can tell you now that even if the APC is not voted in both governorship and presidency, one of them will go to the APC.
Okay.
Either the presidential vote or I told you how I voted in 2011.
But
CPC
times are changing.
Yes, they are changing. In fact, it's even worse now because now there's less emphasis. People are beginning to feel that there's no difference between the parties anymore because people have swapped. I mean, Alero was part of the structure of PDP when it was created. Everybody now migrated to APC. They've now gone back. So there's been back and forth. In fact, these days, you might meet somebody in the morning and he's PDP, in the afternoon he's APC.
But do you think what you are saying is what the locals, the poor masses, have in mind? Because it's like you talk like an elite.
No. Remember that as a reporter journalist from 74. I reported from 74 as a reporter. I know how to balance my opinions. I know how to divorce my opinions from my subjectivity.
Okay.
I can understand where the people are going. And remember, Hamza, when I leave the Sultan's palace, I don't go home directly. I drop my car and walk down to the locals down the road.
But these are people who are now buying a loaf of bread at 1,000, liter of fuel at 350 naira. Do you think you can walk freely now around the palace?
I do. In fact, let me tell you one thing. Everybody recognizes that those of us that are close to them, there are those of us who, if you know me, as Kogun and Sokoto, I should have 2 dogaris by my side, red and green. And if you come near me, I can ask any one of them to. But we connect with the people. We hear their views. We take them into consideration so that if the Sultan or somebody asks me, Koguna, what is your view about? I'm giving him authentic grassroots view. I do that. I can convince, I can talk with my driver. I can converse with my security man. Sometimes I'm coming back, I park my car, I go and sit at the gate with my security man, and I want to know his feelings
to get the pulse.
About the pulse.
Is it positive or negative at present? Because you are going into election with Ashwaju, who will replace President Buhari.
Now, remember something that I said to you. What are the alternatives? The alternative of Labour Party, I don't think anybody in Sokoto is planning that Labour Party will...
Even the Northwest and the North?
I don't think that the other candidate, we have talked about Labour Party, the other candidate, many times in the past, so many years, Sokoto floods, 2010, 2012. The other candidate did not even come to Sokoto.
But it's like you have written of Konkoso, who believes that he will make a difference in Northwest. You've been mentioning this too.
I'll come. So there is also this feeling that, let me tell you what happened in 2019. eve of 2019, a rumor came that one of the candidates running for election, who were the two candidates in 2019? President Buhari and...
Yes, it was Atiku.
Now, a rumor came around this time on Friday night before that if you vote this candidate, he will allow America to impose gay laws on us. So your child can easily become a gay, and the law will protect him. Of course, you know the effect of that on voting. So, because those candidates do not connect.
But was that not blackmail?
That's part of what politics is. In fact, indeed.
Should we encourage it?
We should not. But the bottom line is that they're just looking for a reason to offload a candidate. They know they don't want the candidate, but rather than just say, vote for the candidate based on non-performance or performance, they just give it a bad name so as to hang it. That happens a lot in politics. Hamza, you go to the village, you want to marry a young girl, maybe, I'm sorry if your wife is watching, but you want to marry a 20-year-old. She will
come after you.
She will come after me. maybe you want to marry a 20-year-old girl, and a legislator from Federal House of Reps comes and says, Hamza, say surutu a television kawai baka da kuɗi. And they will give the money, they give the girl.
And they take her.
Unfortunately, so for you to go to contests like that, to look for the hand of a princess or a girl like that, you must be prepared. When you're going to a presidential election of a country of 200 million people, prepare for blackmail.
So what you are saying is your candidate is ready to do blackmail in order to get
No.
But he's prepared to convince Nigeria.
To convince Nigeria.
Okay, we have a problem. In 2015, Koguna, just ahead of the elections, we saw a turnaround of the security architecture. 2015. We saw the issue of governance, holding people to account, getting to the forefront. This was after, during Jonathan. We're having a repeat. We're having a repeat now, because as you rightly said, that people will see peace, more peace in the coming days. They will be moving around. Even their livelihood will improve. This is just for the election. And don't you think that Nigerians are now really aware that they really need real change, not change during elections?
Let me put it like this, Hamza. I think the President Buhari that I've seen in the last 3 months, just check his manifest, activities on a daily basis. It's a renewed Buhari who is doing things now. He's doing things. He's in a hurry to complete the second Niger bridge. He's in a hurry to complete Lagos Ibadan.
But maybe it's for the 2023
elections. No. Remember that posterity will judge people. And he has seen now that for him to make history the way it should be properly recorded for him or on his behalf, he must complete these things and leave Nigeria more peaceful than he met it. And I strongly believe he will do so. He has invested so much in defense. Even in the 2023 budget, defense carries a huge amount. I believe that the monies that have been invested, you needed the leadership. Now he's providing the leadership. Today, as we speak now, there's a Security Council meeting going on. And I can assure you that, look, Hamza, once upon a time, when you hear Dogo Gide amongst the bandits in Zamfara, you'll be scared. When you hear all those big names, all of them.
They are now history of sorts.
They have run into the bushes.
I wish we have more time to discuss this more, but maybe in 1 minute. You headed NBC.
Yes.
Now, the NBC you headed and the NBC we have now, what are the differences? And just a few weeks ago, 2 weeks I think, Zamfara State Governor now shoot some stations. Are we going to see more of this? This is a governor who claims to be a member of the ruling party. He went and shoot stations.
Governor Mutawalli is my very close friend. In fact, I can say distant relative. He comes from Maradu, which is one of the places that have been really hit by banditry. And I also have a relationship with Maradu. He spoke and did that action out of frustration.
Okay.
And if you notice, 2, 3, 4 days later, he reversed that decision and asked his commissioner.
Maybe after wise counsel from people like you.
He just realized that it's not done.
That
You know,
way.
yes, and you don't take action in whatever religion, including Islam. You do not, when you get worried and you get hurt and you get provoked, you calm down and wait and take your time before you take a drastic action. And he took that action that was totally uncalled for. And I'm happy. I congratulate him for having the temerity and the courage to admit and also apologize to the public. NBC, they can only do what they can. I have always been one of those that believe that the Director General of NBC should come from inside.
Okay.
It's always very difficult to bring DGs from outside the NBC and they don't get messed up. The technicalities of what has transpired before and the way people break laws and the institutional memory in NBC is such that if you're not part of that system, you need 2 years.
You can't do it overnight.
You need minimum of 2 years to understand the dynamics.
And the tenure is just, I think, 3, 4, 5 years?
And the dynamics of, you're dealing with, I as DG, I was 41, I was dealing with...
When you became DG?
Yes, I was dealing with people who were defense contractors. They had huge TV stations. I was dealing with people who were shipping magnates. They had TV, they had connections everywhere. What they didn't know was that I was even more connected than them. So everywhere they took, Nalibago has done this, Koguna has done that, I just say, please just go and resolve it with him. Now, unless you have enough willpower and courage to take them on, they will toy with you. And the moment they begin to toy with you, you just look like a yo-yo. So I always give the advice whenever they ask for it, and I'll continue to. And I will encourage them to try to seek for proper advice and to make sure that the regulator is always in touch with the regulated. And he must listen to them as well. He must hear their challenges. He must also learn how to use power and use power discreetly.
What stick does it have to now actually bring airing stations? We have more than 500 stations now in Nigeria, radio, TV.
About 800.
800?
Yes, inside the broadcast code, there's the final section at the end. It's sanctions. For every breach, there's a sanction.
But
every
the enforcement,
breach,
you know, Nigeria has the finest laws when you compare
enforcement is always a challenge.
So how can NBC do that?
No. You do it, you go ahead and do it. You have the law, the law allows you to enforce those things. The fines, the closure of the stations. In 2000, I shut down AIT for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And AIT, wow.
Yeah.
What happened? You were not called from the villa or something like that?
What did a gentleman who was SGF, what did he say the other day? Who is the presidency?
You stood your ground.
Hamza, I have conquered fear. I don't fear anything. I don't bother about dying. I could leave this studio now on my way out now. Somebody could call you and say, the gentleman that left you now has gone to meet his creator. And that's it. I don't bother about fear. I don't bother about things like that. The work has got to be done. It's got to be done in a civilized way, in a decent way, with social justice in mind, but the work has to be done. And I don't bother about who and what I'm going to offend. I don't care about it. I never bother, but I try as much as possible to be civil, at the same time be compassionate about the way I carry out sanctions.
Okay, finally, people thought that after working in many stations, you know, you headed government establishments, that you will just go back to Sokoto, take your turban, and then be at the palace. But we just heard that Dr. Oladibawo has, you know, you backed that PhD. What inspired you after 40 years of graduation to go for PhD in a minute?
Hamza, I love challenges. When I felt that I was not giving 100% at NBC, I woke up one morning and I just wrote to President Obasanjo that I'm not given the best, I'm not given fulfillment as much as I should. I would love to have a change of scene. I want to pursue other things.
And that was what encouraged you to go for the PhD?
That was one of I've always known that I wanted to.
Okay.
And I went back in 2015 and finished my PhD 2019.
We will definitely invite you to come and discuss how you did that. Thank you very much, Dr. Aladebago, member APC Presidential Campaign Council and Koguna Sokoto. Viewers, this is where we come to the end of today's edition of the program, which we hope you enjoyed and hope you join us tomorrow for another edition. Thank you for now. I'm Hamza Idris.